The Niners did lose someone, though. They lost Kerry Hyder, who was a very good player for them last year. He had 8.5 sacks, led the team in sacks, was one of their hungrier players on the team. I felt like the 2020 49ers were not hungry. The 2019 Niners were hungry. They were the hardest working, hardest playing, most enthusiastic team in the league all year. A lot of guys who had stuff to prove and money to make. And then the next year, a lot of guys had nothing to prove, had gotten big signing bonuses, and for whatever reason, they seemed like a totally different team. Kerry Hyder was not one of those guys. He was hungry. He had signed like a 1-year something deal, nothing, to be a backup, 29 years old. If it didn't happen for him last year, his career was probably over. And, I hadn't even heard of him when the Niners signed him. The Niners signed Kerry Hyder. I'm like, oh, that's a guy who's not going to make the team. I've never heard of him. Well, he did make the team. And he started 14 games because Nick Bosa got hurt in week 2. Hyder started 14 games, ended up with 8.5 sacks, and got himself a 3-year, $17.5 million deal with Seattle. I'm sure that guy never expected to get a deal like that. And it's amazing that a soon-to-be 30-year-old defensive end who has 18.5 career sacks, 8.5 of which came last year, could get such a deal. So it's interesting. You look at the Seahawks, they've had pass rush issues for years. They see Kerry Hyder as an upgrade for them. He is. And they see him as, if you take him, you weaken the 49ers, which is good too. So you improve, the Niners get worse. Good move. It's always smart to poach from division rivals. So that's a good move for the Seattle Seahawks. And losing Hyder is significant for the 49ers, or it would have been had they not replaced him, which they did. They signed Samson Ebukam, who is 4 years younger than Kerry Hyder and better than Kerry Hyder. Kerry Hyder, they're similar. Kerry Hyder's bigger, maybe a little bit better against the run because he's got about 20 pounds on him. But as pass rushers, they both win with their effort. Neither one is particularly sophisticated with their moves. You wouldn't call Kerry Hyder or Samson Ebukam a technician, but Ebukam, they're both strong. They both play through the whistle. They both don't quit. They're similar. Difference is Ebukam does so much more. He's faster. He can cover. He can cover man-to-man on tight ends. Kerry Hyder can't do that. He can spy quarterbacks like Russell Wilson, such as Russell Wilson, the guy in Arizona who I'm blanking on his name, Kyler Murray. He can do that. Kerry Hyder can't do that. So the Niners lost Kerry Hyder. It's another guy who's kind of old. Would you have wanted the Niners to give 30-year-old Kerry Hyder a 3-year deal or 26-year-old Samson Ebukam a 2-year deal? Yeah, I'll take Ebukam. So they lost Kerry Hyder. Good luck, Kerry. Have the best, have a good time in Seattle. But I don't think the Niners are really worried about losing him because they upgraded at the spot. And they have other defensive linemen too, who I'm going to get to. But this is, you said the Niners wanted to lose it, run it back. They brought back a lot of their players. This is a significant loss, but they addressed it. They replaced them, and they upgraded. So this is all part of a very positive theme for the 49ers free agency so far. A couple questions, then I'll get back to my spiel. Daryl Hicks says, what's the chances of the Niners looking at Aldon Smith or Jadeveon Clowney? I'm thinking kind of low. The Niners just signed Ebukam, and they signed another defensive end, Jordan Willis, who I'm going to talk about in a minute. It doesn't seem like the Niners want to bring in big named backups. It seems like they want to have no-name backups who Chris Kosar can turn into names. So I would say probably not going to happen, especially after them signing Jordan Willis. But we'll see. I would like them to sign one of those two. Why not?